1, 2, testing.
Hat's coming off, everybody.
Oh, shit.
Woo!
Time to get serious.
Yeah. Speaking of serious.
Man, it's been a long week.
Yeah, man.
I'm going to tell you what. It's much better to be in here, but it was nice to be in Philadelphia. But next time one of you donkeys wants to get in an argument with me, that's fine. I don't care. I'll argue with anybody about anything. Don't do that shit on Twitter. I don't need to try to catch up the 97 tweets. Uncut, for you people who can't spell, UNCUTGEORGE@gmail. Just send me an email. You can send me a 9-page email. I'll read it. I might not respond, but I'll read it. Because I don't need to read 97 tweets about how great Mayweather is. I don't give a flying monkey's ass how good Mayweather is.
We know how great he is.
Personally,
we do.
Do not like the way he fights. That's just me. I'm not taking anything away from him.
And guess what, George? You're entitled to that opinion.
Exactly, but they don't get that. As soon as I say I don't like Mayweather, you don't know anything about boxing. You're a moron. You're not an expert. No shit.
Right.
Never have either one of us said we're experts about anything except for acting like donkeys.
Right, exactly. And we will get into that a little bit later, that everybody who thinks that they're coming up here for any type of expert analysis on anything,
change the station.
just get your fucking
Go
mouse right
else.
now and go, well, click it.
Go watch Mike and Mike. Go if you want expert analysis of somebody who covers more boxing than we do, go to Big Ragu.
Yeah, man.
I don't
He's
care.
a boy. He knows his shit. You know what I'm saying? But they'll find something to say to Big Ragu as well. Now, moving on to completely out of the fighting world, because we'll get back to that. Coach K. Now, this mug, 903 wins.
That's a couple.
That's a couple. You know, he's a few. You know
How many?
what I'm saying?
Does it say how many losses he has? Because I think that would be more impressive.
I mean, and it's not a lot.
No.
It's not a lot. But the bottom line is he broke the records. He passed Bobby Knight last night, actually.
And that's who he learned under.
Yeah, that was his mentor, Bobby Knight. And Duke ended up beating Michigan State last night. We're actually filming this Wednesday morning. You'll probably see it sometime late Wednesday or early Thursday. But me being a Maryland Terrapins fan and George being a UNC fan, we did not really like the Duke Blue Devils.
No.
Take everything aside. Put it aside. And I'm going to tell you what, Coach K is just by far the best fucking college basketball coach to ever step on the floor.
I'm going to venture to say this man has under 300 losses. Because Wikipedia is not the most up-to-date thing because it has him as 830 and 225.
Right.
But I would venture to say that this man has less than 300 losses.
Right. He is. Now think about what he's done so far, and he's got, I mean, he has single-handedly built the Duke basketball program into what it was, to what it is today. And
he coaches adults, semi-adults. He coaches the Olympics team.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a bad dude.
He's a great leader, and I don't know if it was his 5 years at West Point, or his tutelage under Bobby Knight, but that guy knows how to keep a team together and keep them like this. And you can compartmentalize everything and make them guys feel like a family, because he has done it year after year after year. I think back, and this will tell everybody a little bit about my age, but I remember back in the late 80s, my boss looked like Coach K, and we used to laugh about it. And we'd be like, if that motherfucker could only run a basketball squad like him, we used to giggle about that shit. And I'm thinking that was back in like 89. And that's how fucking nasty he was back then. So fucking hats off. I actually took my hat off. I'll put this shit back on. This is to you, Coach K, and we're going to move the fuck out of college basketball.
Tar Heels undefeated, played on a boat, whooped Michigan State's
Those motherfuckers
ass.
have won like 2 games, George.
Are they undefeated? Are they undefeated?
They're undefeated.
Are they undefeated?
They're undefeated.
Thank you.
But they've 2
Are they undefeated?
2-0.
Are they undefeated?
Terrapins will be undefeated.
The Turbulins?
The Terrapins
Their
are
football
going to be nasty.
win.
Basketball.
Win.
When it starts.
When
it starts.
1977.
No, son.
No, please. I'm trying to think. I remember after week 2 in the college season, Maryland gonna be good, son. Maryland gonna be good. Maryland couldn't beat. They're rotten. They are horrible.
He is. George just give me shit about my. You know, I had to pull up this thing real quick, but
please
you can keep talking to the people, but our basketball program is gonna be good. Yeah.
We have a basketball team.
Yeah, you got one, UNC.
Yeah, they're a lot better than Merlin.
But anyway, let's just get on. Let's move out of basketball and go into
just
the NFL.
Well, sort of. It's NFL and NBA.
It is the NFL and NBA. Now, last night, early Tuesday morning, and
about 7 hours ago.
About 7 hours ago, 2:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Victor Cruz, who is the receiver for the New York Giants, it was his birthday. It's like, I'm going out with my boys, Hakeem Nicks, Aaron Ross, Andre Roll. They're going to roll out tonight.
Antrell
Roll. And Chris Canty. And actually a couple NBA players. I don't know which ones were out there. But them mugs were out there having a good old time. And all of a sudden, pop, 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 pop. Don't, nigga, pop, 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 pop.
They asked Victor Cruz, how many gunshots did you hear? He said, a lot.
He's like, a lot, fuck this shit.
A lot more than I needed to hear.
Yeah.
Here's my thing. You probably have practice today. I'm just guessing. This went down at 2:30 in the morning. Like,
this is the bottom line. These guys are young. I know when I was that age, I don't know what you were doing. I know when I was that age, I would have been doing the exact same thing.
Not if I had practice the next morning.
Nah, I would have been. I would have been out acting like an idiot. Especially if it's my birthday, I'd be wilding out.
You know what I'd have been doing?
Huh?
Sitting at my house playing video games.
Yeah, see, George and me are a little bit different. I would have been out partying, acting wild, dodging bullets, and been like, George, Shorty, we were at the club last night, me, Gross, all of us, man. This motherfucker came up in there and was pissed off. Started busting off caps, man. We hauled ass out of the club. Ass and elbows, bitches.
Well, what I get a kick out of is, where was it at? It was, they're saying Hakeem Nicks was not at the club. He told the Times he was at home with his daughter. So where was Hakeem Nicks really at?
Shorty is Pinocchio.
What? Oh, Pinocchio? Wow, did you say Pinonigo? What the fuck is a Pinonigo?
Now, speaking of other things in NFL news, we'll see what happens with that story. I don't think they didn't have anything to do with it. At least right now, that's what they're saying. They just happened to be there. Bad place, wrong place, wrong time.
No.
It's just kind of fucked up because Plaxico Burress got in a situation like that.
Did he?
Yeah. Oh, shot myself, dog.
I think we made a video about that.
We did, man.
Yeah,
you can find it. I might have to put the link up for it.
The other thing was, sticking with the New York Giants. Beginning of the season, I was the first person to tell you when Eli said he was an elite quarterback that he's full of shit. After watching him play the 49ers and watch him play these the last couple weeks, I'd say seriously, he's got to be top 5.
Yeah, this year.
I mean, this year right now, if he continued the throws he was making in that 49ers game, I'm like,
yeah.
There's only a handful of quarterbacks who can make those throws.
Especially with Rivers struggling this year. I mean, you got Rodgers, you got Breeze,
Tom Brady don't look good right now.
Yeah,
I don't care what anyone says. He does not look good.
Yeah, Eli Manning looks very good this year.
Yes.
And I tell you what, my conspiracy theory. Would you like to hear it?
Go for it.
Would you like to hear my conspiracy theory? I think it's Eli Manning doesn't have a lot of focus on himself. His brother's out of the game right now. He can sit back. The Giants got off to a slow start. No one was pressuring him to do anything. The whole NFC East is in shambles. So, you know what? He got to the point where he's like, you know what? I can't do any shit here, And, I mean, I think Eli gets a bad rap. If he came in and he was not Peyton's brother, he's won a Super Bowl. He's won as many Super Bowls as his brother. He doesn't have the stats his brother has, but he's won a Super Bowl, and he's a little bit younger.
I think he's pretty damn good.
Yeah, he looks pretty good.
Yeah.
At least lately.
Yeah.
Now, what's up with my boy Sue? He don't give a fuck. He's like the honey badger, shorty.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Talk to Roger Goodell. Then this weekend, his quarterback gets in a fight. Stafford's getting hard. Them mugs are just straight up like up in the MMA camp.
Dude, and what city do they play out of?
Detroit.
Yeah, that's why.
They're like, we're hardcore. We play for the toughest city in the country. Fuck it, man.
Because there's 3 people in Detroit who have
jobs.
They
need Eminem to make them a theme song and shit. He'd do it.
I'm sure he has.
Well, what happened? I don't know if any of you guys didn't have the opportunity to see it. The Lions played the Bears. Stafford
got stomped.
They got stomped. Stafford was not having a good night. After he threw his 3rd pick, okay, he got into a fight with DJ Moore, okay? Basically, he grabbed Moore by the helmet, slammed him down to the ground, and as he tried to get up, DJ Moore basically pushed him back to the ground and basically was ejected from the game. Sue, who was the spokesperson for the Detroit Lions, and basically the spokesperson is like, man, we're going to do what the fuck we have to, man, and that's a big no-no. Said, hey, do you like the way his,
Do they have to play the Bears again?
They do.
That's going to be ugly.
Yeah, I think
Isn't
they
it
do.
about Thanksgiving when they play?
I know. The Lions, I had a bet with the guy in the gym. I basically told him we had a $100 bet that the Lions would make the playoffs. And at first, it was looking great for me.
Yeah.
Now it's looking a little scary because in the NFC, you got to think. You'll have your 4 division winners that will go to the playoffs, and then you have a slot for 2 more people. Well, in the NFC South, it's you're looking at the Saints, the Buccaneers could go, the Falcons could go, and now in the NFC North, you're looking at the Packers, the Bears, and the Lions. And the Lions have yet to face the Packers this year.
Well, the Lions are 6-3. So
they're 6-3.
Yeah, they'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
They don't play Chicago again till I'm guessing late December.
But they got the Packers twice.
Yeah.
I think you know what? This is my prediction.
They play Green Bay on Thanksgiving.
That's my prediction. That might be Green Bay's first loss.
You're high as a kite.
You think so?
You are high as a kite. Because let me tell you right now, Green Bay's defense might not be on point, but when you step up to play Green Bay, you better, I'm not saying you have to, but you better have the weapons to score 45 points.
They do.
Detroit has one.
But I'm going to tell you what. You guys remember when the Lions beat the Packers on Thanksgiving, y'all come back to this motherfucker and give me mad ups. The Lions are going to beat the Packers, and the Packers are going to go 15-1 because the Lions are going to hand them their only loss, and that's going to be on Thanksgiving Day. Those are bad motherfuckers on Thanksgiving, Shorty. Back to the Barry Sanders Day. I know they don't have Barry Sanders anymore. I know, but they're going to beat them. I got faith in them, man. I know you're looking at me like I'm crazy. I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
Anyway, now
sticking with the NFL, Matt Schaub's out.
Now, Matt Schaub is out. Now, that means another Matt will be coming in place of him. And that's Liner. Now, this happens at a great time because Andre Johnson is like, fuck, man. I'm coming back, and this motherfucker going to be throwing me the ball.
No, know what he just did? Oh, hamstring.
Oh, I'm hurt. I'm out for the rest of the season. Fuck.
And let me tell you right now, Levi McDivitt, if you're watching this, and I hope you are, you have one loss this season. Did you beat him?
No, Levi.
Did anyone? Oh, that's right. I'm the only one to beat him.
That's right.
Unfortunately, I'm 500, and I need to play Levi again. But guess what? Arian Foster's on a bye this week. So, Levi, I'm handing you loss number 2 because my whole squad's there. Now, my only tough decision is Phillip Rivers or Carson Palmer. Because let me tell you right now, everyone wants to give me shit.
Who's the Chargers playing?
I don't care. They haven't played anyone well. Phillip Rivers is horrible.
But he could turn it up.
When?
He could turn it up.
When?
He's got a lot of weapons.
He's supposed to be a second-half quarterback. It's the second half, Chauncey. Come on.
I know. He's been killing me because Ryan Matthews is my running back. And he's not even dumping it off to him. But, I mean, I think it's not just Phillip Rivers. I think it's San Diego's a complete squad right now.
North Turner got to go. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye, North.
He could go.
You run your course.
Now, getting back to the Houston situation.
It's doo-doo.
They're saying that Lionheart is completely equipped to come in. Lionheart is completely equipped to come. Thank you for correcting me, my friend. He is completely equipped to come in and run this offense.
That's horseshit.
Now, this is what I will say. He has got the best.
Great clipboard holding skills.
He's got great clipboard holding, but he does have the best running back in football right now. And he's got one of the next best running backs in football, in Ben Tate. He's got a really good thing around him. Now he's got Andre Johnson coming back. If they run the offense, they're what? They got 3 losses.
Hand the ball off
97
times.
Hand the ball off. They can run the offense to get them there because basically they win 3 more games, they'll be in the playoffs. They've got like Jacksonville, Indianapolis, so they're pretty much guaranteed 3 more wins even with Liner. But this is the thing: what's going to happen when they do make the playoffs, and then they're going up against the defenses of the Steelers, the Ravens, the Jets? They're going to be blitzing his
They will be
off.
done.
Yeah.
They're one and done. But
so for all you Houston Texas fans, bye-bye, see ya. Deuces, bitches.
But the nice thing is at least Leinart has a bye week. So, I mean, if you're going to come in and you got to bring in a new quarterback, so he has all this week to practice and all next week to practice to get geared up. And I'm going to tell you right now, if Denver can run the ball 55 times, so can Houston. And for all you people who are high on Tim Tebow, let's just stop.
Yeah.
Kevin and I, a couple weeks ago, we wanted to see Tim Tebow do well. But you know what? That is the longest, slowest release I have ever seen. It's like, but
they're running the option.
And as soon as someone tells a defensive end to stay home, Tebow will be done playing in the NFL.
It's a wrap. Yep. Yeah.
Go be a Chris Cooley.
So, yeah, that's what he should be doing. You know, because the option is not going to work. Defense is going to make adjustments, and you're going to get smashed. You know?
He'll get killed.
Liner's going to struggle. He's got a bye week this week. In 7 weeks, he'll have a bye-bye week. Now, let's move on. Out of Georgia, we're gonna talk. If you look at the title of this video,
and yes, for all you boxing fans out there, we are gonna try to get to the Amir Khan fight. Yeah, he's fighting in D.C. We're gonna try to get press passes. If we can get press passes, we'll go. If not, I'm thinking maybe a $25 seat in the next to last seat, but it's at the DZ Convention Center.
Right. What you boxing fans, we got you guys here, and if you've made it to this point, you've got to understand a few things. George and I know we're not fucking experts.
At no point have we ever called you. To be honest, you out there think that we're experts because we're sitting here. We are not.
We're not. If you went to anybody, and let's clarify. If you went to Mike and Mike, who probably one of the most notable radio personalities in sports in the world, and you started asking them detailed shit about boxing, they would look at you like,
It's too hard.
Yeah. For
We
everybody who has this, whether it be hockey, whether it be boxing, MMA, football, basketball, whatever the fuck it might be, unless it's porn or video games, Call of Duty, George becomes... I call a nigga out like shit. But look, we're not going to be experts on it. That's why we do this shit. So you guys can sit there and rip us new asses or put shit on the comment board. Because we know we're not going to get everything right. We're going to address it to all the fans, okay? So you motherfuckers don't think we're sucking somebody's dick or have some nuts sitting here on our face, okay? We'll start with which fans you want to start with. Let's start with the Pacquiao fans, okay? It's very well known that I like Manny Pacquiao. George, why do I like Manny Pacquiao?
Because he's exciting. He comes forward. He throws 10,000 punches, and he reminds you of a comic book character.
Right. I mean, and I like what the man does outside of the boxing ring. Okay.
And for you people out there who want to look at both as two separate entities, that's fine. And I can do that with some people, but right. I've learned the whole person, because it's not just what they do in the ring, it's what they do outside the ring. And it's not what they do on the field or, the cage or whatever. You have to take it all as a whole.
Right.
Forrest Griffin's getting himself in some hot water.
Yes.
Floyd Mayweather Jr. gets himself in some hot water. But it changes my opinion on people. But,
yeah, we're not going to talk about what they do in the ring. I mean, but if we're talking about boxing, sometimes George makes comments about boxing, okay? And if we're talking about fighting, Floyd Mayweather, okay, well, I'll get back to this. Let's get back to Pacquiao. For Pacquiao fans, I like Pacquiao. I thought he didn't fight his best fight against Marquez the other night. George and I agreed.
He didn't look super crisp.
Yeah, he didn't look super. He looked hesitant. He looked like he was scared to pull the trigger on Marquez. There's going to be some Pacquiao fans out there that disagree. He was scared to pull the trigger.
I would say because he was worried about the power.
Right.
Marquez has power to hurt Pacquiao, and you could almost see it. He was kind of like... Before, in his previous fight, when he fought Shane Mosley, when he fought De La Hoya, Pacquiao was like, whatever.
He just attacked.
Pinned his ears back and went for it. Versus Marquez, it's like he got to right and then went...
Right. Now... You're going to hear the Pacquiao fans saying, he's getting his feet stepped on. Fuck that shit.
It's too damn quick to have his feet stepped on.
Fuck the feet shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear that as an excuse, because basically Pacquiao, you know what? He's avoided had his feet stepped on the other times. I mean, who cares? Get around it. If your corner's noticing it, work around it. You know what I'm saying? It's part of boxing. That's a fact. Now, I don't know what's going on with Abram and what happened with Top Rank and what's going to happen with the Mayweather. Who knows? Because 1 minute it's Pacquiao's camp, 1 minute it's Mayweather's camp. We don't fucking know. We just tell you the way we hear it as the news is breaking. And once a story starts to get some traction, then we get a little bit deeper into it. So Pacquiao didn't fight his best fight. Okay? Now let's move on to JMM fans, Marquez fans. Okay? Now, Marquez fans. Marquez fought a great fucking fight. He's got Pacquiao's number, okay? But if these two guys were nobody, I think one of the things is that everybody expected Pacquiao just to overwhelm Marquez. And when they didn't see that, all of a sudden, everything shifted. You know what I mean? Marquez fought a good fight. I called the fight a draw and the reason I call it a draw was because, the reason I call it a draw was because if they said Pacquiao won the fight, I'd be like, okay. If they said Marquez won the fight, I'd be like, okay. But if they asked me, what do you think the fight was, Kevin? I would have been like, I thought it was dead fucking even, because of what I saw. You got to understand, if you're going to go in there and dethrone a champ and stuff, you got to be more impressive than what Marquez was. That's not taking anything away from his performance, but you've got to press the action. Marquez did not press the action. Pacquiao pressed the action. Pacquiao threw more punches, landed more punches.
Marquez probably landed more counter punches.
Yeah, Marquez definitely landed more counter punches, and Marquez definitely landed more effective punches. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I was like, oh shit. So that's taking nothing away from Marquez. But did he do enough to beat Pacquiao? No. Especially with everything sitting there, no. Boxing's not going to allow that to happen. So all the Marquez fans, you got to be proud of your boy, but let it rest. Mayweather fans, okay? Now, sometimes everybody has a problem with Mayweather. It's not just me and George and stuff like this. Now, George and I'll sit back here when this camera's off, and we'll talk about how fucking nasty Floyd Mayweather is, because we know he's undefeated. We know he's the best counter puncher, best defensive fighter in the game today. Motherfuckers, we recognize that. We don't need you guys barking and bitching in our ears. Oh, motherfuckers, you don't know shit about boxing. We might not know as much detailed shit about boxing as you guys do, but we do know a little bit about boxing, enough to talk about it, okay, and not be fucking.
And George knows enough that I will tip my hat to Mr. Mayweather, but I do not like the way he fights. And if that is boxing and truly boxing, that's fine.
Right.
You can have your boxing. Me, I like fighters.
Right.
I like guys who are going to go in there and just scrap it out. Now, do you understand the difference?
And let me explain this to people. Boxing is a sport and art, which Floyd Mayweather is the master of, no doubt.
Mickey
Occasionally,
Ward, Arturo Gatti,
you get boxers that are fighters too, like Mike Tyson, like that just show a tremendous amount of heart and stuff like this, that are offensive, defensive fighters. You guys know in the boxing world what the fuck I'm talking about, okay? Now, MMA is fighting. It is different. It is just different. If anybody wants to sit there and argue the point, you can argue with me. Boxing is a sport and art. Yeah, it involves you fucking somebody up, two guys beating the shit out of each other, beating each other, but it is not all out fighting. You can't, your arms are up here for a reason, because they don't have to be low in a Muay Thai stance, because somebody's not going to barbecue your ribs with a knee or a kick. It's all out. It's different. With that being said, Mayweather fans understand, Georgia, that it's not so much our hate for what Mayweather does in the ring. A lot of it has to do with the things he's done outside of the ring. You know what I mean? And you know what? If we're guilty of not compartmentalizing that and saying, you know what, we need to keep what Mayweather does outside of the ring, then we're guilty of that. You guys can call George and I out and say, you guys are fucked up, man. Because sometimes we do give Mayweather a lot of shit about some of the dumb shit he's done outside of the ring. Now, you made a comment about what's going to happen to Floyd Mayweather if he loses.
Then he gets a rematch.
Right.
So, to be honest, and I'm going to tell you this right now, do I think he's going to lose to Pacquiao? No. Would I like to see him lose to Pacquiao? Yes. But what happens to Floyd if he loses? Then he gets a rematch. And then what if he catches another L? What if his career, look at Roy Jones Jr. He went from this to
Yep.
What if that happens to Mayweather? Then what?
Yeah. Roy Jones Jr., I mean, sometimes if you look at old clips of Roy Jones Jr., you're like,
he looked
what
unbeatable.
The fuck? If you look at old clips of James Toney, unbelievable. But sometime or another, you look back and you're like, they're not going to go down in history as one of the greatest ever. Not in my opinion. And there could be somebody out there that argue that point. But you look at just this week, Frazier. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Ali, because of his epic bouts just with one man, it made him. It made him.
And who does Floyd have that with?
He doesn't have it with anybody. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that doesn't mean he's. And somebody actually made a good point, and actually, they actually schooled us. Somebody says, well, guys, the reason you don't see him in that many battles is he's a great defensive fighter. And I thought, yeah, I guess
you're right.
You're right. You're good. That's a good point. But
I don't know. I think if he takes an L, it's going to hurt him more than Pacquiao. Now I'm not taking anything away from them. And what you need to understand when I say that is, Mayweather catches an L, then he has to defend it, and he has to fight whoever he got the loss against.
Right.
And what if he loses again? Then what does he do? He doesn't have the belt. He can't beat the champ. It's like Edgar. Edgar beat the shit out of BJ Penn. BJ Penn just couldn't do anything about it.
I can only hope at this point in time that the camps get together. Now, Mayweather's camp now obviously seems like they're putting on a steam, and Pacquiao's camp's backing down, or Abrams. Because, I don't know who knows what it is. And no, I'm sorry, I don't want to see a fourth fight with JMM. I just don't want to see it.
Nope.
And I'm sure Marquez fans are like, fuck you, Kevin, whatever. I just don't want to see it, man. I just don't want to see it. I mean, that's just me personally. I would like to see these battles between Mayweather and Pacquiao develop, because I think for the boxing world and anybody out there who's a Mayweather fan, a Pacquiao fan, and stuff like this, everybody wants to see it.
Now, something George wants to see is us get off boxing, because I'm changing lanes, and I'm about to throw Kevin a curveball. We have a problem in New York.
New York City?
New York City.
Okay.
The problem is they don't want MMA. Okay?
Okay.
Now, here's your next problem.
Because they got enough gang fights. Okay.
Here's your next problem.
Right.
They can't put butts in Madison Square Garden because you do not have the NBA. Mm-hmm. Do we agree?
Yep.
No NBA, you got to fill the arena.
Yep.
New York has a legislation out saying that there will be no human cockfighting, as they call it, MMA. But now they do have boxing, which is sanctioned in New York. Yeah, I was not ready for that. So my question to you is, do you think with no NBA or no NBA in the near future, does New York need to reconsider this as a money-making opportunity for its city? Because how much money was the NBA bringing to New York?
Well, The
41 home games?
Yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, Madison Square Garden is probably one of the most popular venues in the country, in the world.
How quickly would that sell out?
Yeah. If they had MMA fights, the problem is how many MMA. I mean, what could Dana and the UFC? Because those would be the fights that would give you a big draw. There's no more Strike Force. There's not going to be Bellator. Quarterly. Now you can also say, all right, we can put more boxing matches, in Madison Square Garden or other big major events. So it's going to.
Do you think the lack of my question is? Do you think the lack of an NBA presence is going to help try to get MMA in New York? That's just basically what I'm getting at.
I mean, I think someone could, in the MMA world, they could use it as a leverage point. I don't think it'll make much difference because the bottom line is they're set in their ways, and we know that if there isn't basketball season this year, there's going to be basketball season next year. And once they say it's okay, I mean, I think so. I think they're going to have a whole year to fix this up.
Because they're getting ready to go to court to try to let a judge decide it. Because you know what?
But it's very well known.
It's not fair that you're going to take my $5.4 million salary and move it to $5 million. That's fucked up.
Right.
Because there's teachers out here with families who make $34,000 a year.
Oh, and let me tell you something. Everybody get it right. There are a lot of NBA. There's not a bunch of unity in the NBA. Right? I mean, there's a lot of players that want to make a deal. They wanted the deal. It's very well known. Chris Bassar with ESPN said, hey, a lot of these players wanted to make this deal. There's some stand-up players that said, no, let's not fucking do it. But there's a whole pool of players that are out there.
You know which pool of players wants the deal done? The ones that are not making $5 million a year.
Like Delonte West down at
Renaissance Center?
Renaissance Center, that's it, yeah. Renaissance Center. And on that note.
There's always women's MMA. I mean,
right.
that's coming on.
They could maybe do that at Madison Square Garden. Deuces.